Hello and welcome back to the Cesspool, and welcome back to the 25 Days of Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. I truly hope today is a good one. And today, we have not left the floor. No more field trips for now. We'll see if I think of something where we can take another little side quest off to another part of any other location other than a carpet. And today, not taking a quest to the carpet, but we are taking a quest down to the clubhouse, because we're talking about Clubhouse Games today, and specifically what changed over the 15-year span between these two games, because Clubhouse Games came out in 2005 for the DS. It was an early DS title, all things considered. DS came out in 2004. This game ended up coming out in 2005. Meanwhile, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics here for Nintendo Switch is a 2020 release, which is about right in the middle of the Switch's life. We were 3 years in, and when this game came out right here, this was a big deal. And you might think, like, okay, well, why was this such a big deal? Well, it had been 15 years since the original Clubhouse Games came out, and this was a pretty well-loved game. It was never, this crazy, it's a Touch Generations title. It's an earlier DS game, so a lot of people had it. And, it's not shovelware or anything. This is a, Nintendo-published game. And it's a great virtual way to play a lot of these classic card and board games. And I don't think a ton of people... I didn't know about this game before the release of this one, I'll be completely honest with you. And now I've gone back and looked at this one as well. And it has a lot of merit, honestly. Even compared to 51 Worldwide Classics. And we'll get into the differences. Obviously, there's 15 years of time between these games. So the way they play is going to be quite different. The way they look is obviously quite different. And even the games included, there is some variety between them. So... first, let's see what's going on the DS here. So we had 42 classic games. There's card games. There's a lot of card games. There's dice, boards, and more. Obviously, on the DS, they were a little bit more limited on what they can do, right? So they focus a lot more on touchscreen-based games, simpler games. Like I said, there's a lot of card games. And on the back, it's a game night, and everyone is invited. Quite literally everyone, because this game actually supports 8-player multiplayer through multiple DS systems through wireless play, which is really cool. And you know what doesn't have 8-player multiplayer? This game. Up to 4 players in very specific games. And yes, okay, that's the same case here. But 8 players? That's kind of awesome. So 40 games to choose from. Clubhouse Games is a portable game chest with something for everyone. You can pick up and play tons of games, get connected. Yeah. So and they have wireless play. So you only need one copy. You needed just buy this one copy of this DS game, and you can have 8 players playing this with their own DSs. This game, oh well, if you want more than one copy, or you're going to need more than one copy if you are going to be playing with other people. Now they have introduced like kind of download play for Switch 2, which is cool. And I don't know if this game supports that or if they did an update or something. If they did, that's great. But nothing will really beat DS wireless play, and it's super cool that this game supports 8 players. Now on 51 Worldwide Classics, of course, unlike the DS game, there's a lot more that you can do simultaneous multiplayer-wise here. And there's more games. Of course, there's 51. And with it being a more modern title, there's a lot less restriction on the games that you can play. So yeah, there can be touchscreen-based games, and which there are, and you can use it for that. But there's plenty of variety. There's debatably probably more variety than there is in the original game. And is this game actually better than this game? Like, objectively, sure. But I think they both have merit. And obviously we wouldn't have this one without this one. So let's take a look exactly at what the hell these games are all about. Let's compare their UIs, and even see if we can compare like the same game. So if we open up the old DS one here, this is your main menu for the original Clubhouse Games. pretty damn simple compared to the Switch version. And this game is like entirely based on touchscreen. So we're going to take our pink stylus here and we're going to just take a look. So you have single player, multiplayer, and your settings. That's pretty much it. So if we go to single player, this is a little interesting. You have a mission mode. There are these stamps, which is pretty cool. And you have free play. And free play is basically your main, okay, I want to play cards or I want to play backgammon, blah, blah, blah. The mission mode is pretty cool. There's specific things you have to complete in each of the different games. And then, you move on to the next mission and all that. But if we just go to free play here, we have all 42 games to choose from. And it's pretty interesting the way they have them kind of set up based on what kind of game it is. So, okay, these are your basic card games. And then you have intermediate card games where there's a little bit more going on. You have a little bit more thinking, I guess. And then there's advanced card games where it's more like, okay, now we're playing poker. Now we're playing 5-card draw, blah, 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 Texas Hold'em. Then you have your basic board games, advanced board games. Again, a little bit more going on. You got backgammon, chess. Variety games. This is just kind of your weird kind of, if you were playing Clubhouse Games, it would be like battle tanks and stuff like that. It's just kind of the weird stuff they don't really know what to do with. And the action games, this is, again, you have bowling, darts, which are in 51 Worldwide Classics. Billiards does not appear in 51 Worldwide Classics, which is kind of crazy to me. And then the last section here are single-player only games. There you go. There's your solitaire, your mahjong, solitaire, etc., etc. So that's basically the layout of the game. Now, something I find pretty cool is, since this is designed with wireless play in mind, there's a chat mode, so you could talk. And I imagine this was the original owner of the game. You could draw, or you could paint, or you could add stamps. Okay, and the game kind of messed up. And then you could send it, and it'll show up on the screen up here. But if I go back to draw, blah, 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 I can send that. I can even copy it and send it again. I can erase the copy, new copy, send it. Boom. So it's pretty cool that, and there's a lot of colors to choose from. And they did this in a lot of these DS games with download play. They would add like a little chat feature, and obviously, you had like Picto Chat and everything like that on the DS in general. And since this is a Nintendo published game, I guess they wanted to encourage you to do stuff like that and communicate with the other people who are playing. And you could argue that that doesn't have a ton of like actual use because, you're in the same room. Why are you using a chat feature? But it's fun. It's a fun little addition. And the only other thing here that I didn't mention is, again, an options menu. So you can turn off the chat if you want. You can sort the games. You can have tips and tricks, hints, and you can pick whether the room is open or not. And yeah, that's pretty much the damn game. What I will do here is we'll just open up Blackjack and start just to see how it's going to work. So most of the game happens down here on the bottom screen, while up on the top screen is kind of like your stats and what's going on. So okay, we got a bet. So okay, we're gonna bet. We'll bet 5 chips just for the sake of argument. So everyone, now we deal, and here we go. So the UI is obviously a lot different. It's not as like clean and sleek as it is on Nintendo Switch. But it's pretty cool that, I'm playing with 4 CPUs here. What can I do? This is my hand. I'm going to hit. Actually, I shouldn't have hit. I don't know how to... Wow, I got very lucky there. I'm going to stand. That'd be very dumb for me not to stand. I got 20. That's going to be should be a win for me unless, something crazy happens. Oh, look at that. We got to battle it out. And I won because they freaking busted. So anyway, yeah. So that's how Blackjack would work in the original game. Now we're going to put that down for a second. We're going to let that hang out and do its thing. And then we're going to open the Nintendo Switch version. And we're going to play Blackjack again. Except we're going to play the Switch version. Don't mind my screen being very gross. I'm so sorry. Now these Joy-Cons are drifting pretty bad. So we're gonna see how this works. But obviously the UI here on Nintendo Switch is a lot more clean, a lot sleeker, which is kind of the Switch's thing, They very much were trying to kind of streamline things on Switch in general, not necessarily just like, oh, we got to make this 15-year-old game more streamlined. So yeah, there's no like specific mission mode, there's no stamps, there's no chat feature, but let's be honest, how many people did really use it? It's awesome that it was there, and it's really a product of the time because Nintendo doesn't do stuff like that anymore. But here, we're going to change the view, and here you go. Here's just all the games. There's no categories. You could sort if you wanted to, and the games are sorted depending on the parameters that you choose, like, oh, if it's 2-player, are you playing on one screen or not, blah, blah, blah. But if you're playing single player, you have access to all the games, and that's just how it is. So here, we're going to go and... Here she is. There you go, Blackjack. And unlike in the original game, obviously, there is a tutorial, which I'm going to skip because I think I know how to play Blackjack. So here we go. Again, I'm sorry that the screen is very gross. I may or may not spit a lot when I'm playing games. I'm getting mad, what can I say? Not very good at video games. So obviously, yeah, this is going to be presented a lot differently than on the DS. The DS is a little bit more just, here it is, baby. You know, take the stats and everything. This game, it's obviously going to be presented a lot better. A little bit more, kind of good. You know, it looks better. I'm not having a good hand right here. It's looking a little rough. What can I say? Alright, we're going to stand on that. It's not looking too hot for me. And they're standing too. They're going to stand. We all lose because the dealer had a better hand anyway. But yeah, so that, you know, that's how Blackjack works here on Switch. Obviously, it looks a lot better. It runs a little bit more streamlined. While on the DS, you know, it's a little busy. I'll be honest, it's a little busy, but it's cool. You know, you can keep doing the chat here while you're in the game. I didn't even actually see that. And if you want the rules, unlike in the Switch game where they freaking force that tutorial on you every time, you can just pop it up if you need it. You don't have to go and look through it. You know, it doesn't really matter. You can close it. You can look at it whenever you want. And yeah, so if I were to compare these two games, I would say that the DS one doesn't have as much variety, but has plenty of merit on its own. Obviously, it's a bit more portable than, you know, the Nintendo Switch, just system-wise. And they do have unique games. Now, a lot of the games here on DS are, you know, your card games. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot of card games, decent amount of board games, and then you do have some variety stuff like bowling and, you know, darts and billiards, and that's cool. And it does really suck that there is no billiards here on Switch, quite honestly. But it's cool that they have bowling, and before Switch Sports came out, this was the closest thing we had to Wii Sports Bowling, although I would never really compare them. And yeah, that's kind of the games here. Not a ton to say about these games, other than they're very different, but you can obviously see the evolution from the original game to 51 Worldwide Classics. But we would never have 51 Worldwide Classics without the original game. They're very similar and they're very different, but I think they're products of the time. This is an earlier DS game. It's a Touch Generations title, so it's a little more bare bones. It's just supposed to be like, okay, all right, we're doing it. You know, Grandpa should be able to play Blackjack on this. While 51 Worldwide Classics, it's got to look a little nicer. You know, this is a new generation. There's a lot more kids playing. And if we want to introduce them to the classic board games and stuff like that, we should present it in a way that is a little bit more cleaned up. And obviously, you know, they take advantage of the hardware that they're on. 51 Worldwide Classics does a lot more with having more buttons and peripherals on the Switch, and of course, yes, it does use the touchscreen, while the DS focuses on using the dual screens and a lot of using the touchscreen. The touchscreen is a big deal, and that was the case for a lot of early DS games. So these games, I think, are both products of the time, and I think if they were to make one in another 5 years, this being 2025, I think we would see a very different Clubhouse Games. I think we'd see a lot of the same titles, but I think, again, we would see a different presentation. Now, do I think we need another one? Probably not, honestly. I think this game is perfectly fine, unless they do something crazy with the next Nintendo console or something, you know, really changes. I don't think we really need another one of these games. It'd be great if we did, or if we got some kind of expansion that just had more games in it. That would be great. But I think this was a worthy evolution, and I don't think right now there's much more that we can do with this other than make a 51 Worldwide Classics 2. which would be great to have more games, or DLC with, oh, $5 for 10 more games, or blah blah blah, or a Switch 2 enhanced edition, which would cost way too much money, but they would add more games and maybe it would be worth it. Use the unique features, use the mouse, that would be something that you could actually do with this. But yeah, these are fantastic games. They're wonderful little games that anybody can play, really. Anybody can pick up and play these. They're classic board games. They're just put into a virtual format. So I'd like to thank everybody so much for watching, taking a look at Clubhouse Games with me, beloved little games. And hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. I truly hope it is a good one. I don't know when the next video will be, except that I do. It is tomorrow, and I will see you guys then.